All right. Good evening, everybody. And this is our weekly training. Nancy and I are leading it tonight, and we're going to help you to help your new associates get started. So I'm going to start out with the first 4 slides, and then Nancy's going to take it from there. Any questions we will answer at the end after we stop recording. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share. All right, can everyone see my screen? Nancy, you're muted. Okay, can you see the extra stuff around my screen or just the PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint.
Just the PowerPoint. Okay. Hi, Garcia.
Awesome.
Hola, hola, hola.
Okay, so we're going to go into talking about getting your associates started right. The main thing is the first thing you want to find out from your new associate is what their why is. You know, we may have certain of our whys, like for mine personally, I want to make sure that when I'm a grandma, I'm able to hang out and stay home with my kids or my grandkids because I wasn't able to be there for my kids. So that's my why. That's not everybody else's why. Some people are money motivated. You know, some people do want to stay home with their kids. Some people want to travel. So we need to make sure that we're there for our associates for whatever they're in the business for. They may not want to work this 20 hours a week. They might want to work this 2 hours a week just to make a few $100s per month. And that's perfectly fine. Everyone's in business for themselves, just not by themselves. And so that's the first thing we want to do. We want to make sure that we're helping you with your goals, not infringing upon you on what we think your goals should be. So first thing you're going to do as a new associate is going to be to make your list and don't prejudge. You know, you might think that the CEO of your company wouldn't be interested in this, but maybe you don't know that they're looking for a way to be able to retire someday. So if we prejudge them, we're actually violating their freedom of choice. So we want to really be able to just share it with everybody and say, you know, you might say something a little bit different, like to a CEO, you might want to say, hey, I've started a new project and I'd like your opinion because your opinion means a lot to me. You might not say that to someone who is like your niece or nephew. That's going to be a different conversation. So you're going to put everybody on your list. Don't prejudge. As your upline, we can help you and how to cater that you know, conversation around the type of people that you're going to be talking to. And you want to show them information. Don't be the information, because anybody that you talk too much, as Nancy can vouch for, I talked too much when I originally was chatting with Nancy about this, and I pushed her away because of it. So it took me 4.5 years to get Nancy on the team. And so you don't want to be the tool. You want to use the tools that we have. We've got great videos. So you want to share information, and then you want to get your upline or someone else on your team who's a manager and above can be the one to be the expert. And we need to make sure to edify each other so that they feel like they're going to be talking to an expert. So even though I've known Nancy for over 20 years, If I'm using Nancy as my expert, I'm going to say Ms. Winters. Ms. Winters has been in the business for over 6 years. She's gotten to the highest level of executive director. I'm going to have her answer your questions because she's an expert. Okay. So we just want to make sure to do that. So any questions on doing three-way calls, definitely let us know and we can help you with that. So that's kind of getting into the next thing. You make your list, you are going to get all of your prospects to want to be on a private Zoom. That's where they're going to hear about the details of the business and they're going to hear about the compensation. Most people are going to want to be on a Zoom because they want to hear about the compensation. So the first 2 little 3-minute videos that we send out, we make it really easy. Copy and paste it to 50 people. It's a numbers game. Out of those 50 people, you might get 25 that actually look at the video. Out of that 25, you might actually get 12 that want to be on a private Zoom. Out of those 12, you might have a handful of them that decide to get the membership, and a couple more of them will get into the business. So just remember, it's a numbers game. We're here to help you do three-way calls to get people onto the Zoom. So once they've watched the first 2 videos, if they have some sort of interest, that's when you can let us know, hey, I'm following up with this person. I verified they watched the videos and I need to do a three-way call to invite them to the Zoom. So that's what we do. We keep it simple, simple, simple. So that way it's duplicatable. The easier we keep this business, the faster we're going to grow. So on the private Zoom, we do have the links for all the different Zooms that we have during the week. So you can choose those, but we can also arrange a private Zoom around your schedule. So Nancy or I can help you with that. Haas is out of town for another week or so, but when he gets back, he's happy to do a private Zoom. And then what we can do is have that specific new associate invite all of their people onto that one Zoom. So that way it's kind of like if they had a grand opening party at their home, same type of thing, but it's a Zoom specifically for them. Now, if they are in your area, it's always better if you can do a private party. What did we used to call it, Nancy? Like an open house, kind of a grand opening at their home. So that's always preferable in person. And then we can do the private Zoom for them for any people that do not live by them. So when we're doing this, we're going to teach them how to invite people. We're going to chat with them each day just to make sure that they're contacting and inviting. And we're going to teach them how to follow up after the Zoom and also teach them how to do a three-way call. So we can practice that with you and with your associates. So that way, when we do it, they know how to actually do the three-way call, because each person has different things with their phones. We want to make sure that we get the kinks out before the event. Okay. Now, register for Fast Start. This is very, very important. We want to make sure they do this within the first day or 2 of signing up, because this is going to help them familiarize themselves with our whole system. We don't necessarily want to be the only person that's training people. We want to make sure to plug them into the Fast Start so that way they hear other stories of how people are using this membership. They're going to hear about other successes. We want to make sure that our associates know that this is a big team. And even though we're not all on each other's team, we're all here to help each other. And there's a big, huge system that's there specifically for them to make sure that they have success. And 2, sometimes people will listen to me or listen to Nancy, and they're going to get different things from what each of us says. So when we have these really great trainers that are out there doing these trainings, they may hear something that you've been trying to tell them. They're going to hear it in a different way from a different person, and it's going to make so much more sense. So we want to make sure that people are learning the way that they need to learn. And so that's the great part about our large Legal Shield team, is we have all those things available to us. So I'm going to go ahead and Chu, for the Fast Start, you need to take that in order to get your Fast Start bonuses and your manager bonuses. Even if someone hasn't hit Fast Start or Manager, we still want them to do the Fast Start class, because they're going to have associates that they're going to want to help get Fast Start and Manager, and they're going to get those matching bonuses. And that's another great reason to make sure that you're keeping your website after the first 30 days, is so that you can continue to get those Fast Start and Manager matching bonuses and Performance Club as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Nancy so she can start with plugging into weekly events.
Well, thank you, Nikki. That was awesome. Yes, let me share the screen real quick to show you all. What's that? Let's see here. Everyone can see that. I'm going to go to the Legal Shield calendar right now. Megan, what city are you? What happened?
I had that problem on Google. I think they're doing some, oh, you have to hit advanced down below.
Oh, okay, advanced. So we have a calendar. It's legalshouldercalendar.com. Nothing's working. But anyway, depending on what city that you're in, you can go to that website. Sometimes it's easier to in your back office. Actually, let me just go down there and show you how to get to it. Then you're not having a problem. Can everyone see this?
No.
Oh, hold on.
You stop sharing.
Share. All right. So when you log into your LS Engage here, there's a couple of things I do want to point out too. But if you go down here to your business links, you can go down to show. Thought that was here. Nope, it's not here. So that's really great.
Show them where to go to Prospect by PPLSI from there, though. That's good.
So you can go here. This is a nice place where you can enter your prospects online. The apps is convenient if you don't want to open your computer, but sometimes it's good to go ahead and log in on your computer, because then you have a big screen here.
You could actually from there get into legalshieldcalendar.com by searching for the events on there.
Yeah, nothing's coming up. So obviously nothing is working right now. So anyway, yeah, plug into your weekly events. I know in Arizona, actually, Megan, I'm not sure, Allie and Felicia, you can, and I know Rebecca's down in Tucson, you can actually engage in our Tuesday Zoom call that's done by our own Bonita Jenkins, also executive director. She does a Tuesday night Zoom you can bring your prospects to. So that is a great weekly. I know a lot of people don't want to go out, especially in the wintertime when it's cold and dark. So plug them into these online events. I know that she has great people from all around, great leaders all around from the country. I will be starting an in-person event. That's to be determined. So I'll make sure everyone knows about that. And even if you are not in this state or in this city, you can invite people. I know that Nikki's good at that. She'll go on LinkedIn and find people in Phoenix. Nikki's probably about 5-hour drive, 4-hour drive from here. So she'll go and find prospects and she'll plug them into the events that are going on in Phoenix. So also just want to let you know, when you have a new associate that comes on your team, they're also your member, and this goes for your members as well. Make sure that you have their membership number and the attorney contact for that state. The Legal Shield app, show them how to use the membership, get them to use the membership, at least start a will presentation. You've got something going on, Nikki?
Oh, I'll show, because I have a couple screens to go with what you're saying.
Oh, good. Okay. And then also, if you go to lsengage.com, when you go to your reports, you can find, even if you just entered a new membership that day, you can see pending applications and you can find their membership number. So yeah, make sure that they have all that information and let them know to start calling right away. Also, just clarify, we're all business partners right here. Nobody is anybody's boss. We're here to mentor. We're here to coach. We're just here to help you succeed. Also, make sure that your new associate downloads the prospect app that we just saw. You can log in on your computer. Make sure they can log in their new prospects. They can send videos out from that site, and then the LS Engage app through the prospect app. Apparently now you go to prospect app and you can now download it from there. The lsengage.com is your back office. When anyone says back office, you could go in there and find out your associate's number, number, also anybody on your team, the associate number, and then any members that you've enrolled. So you can go in there and find out that. Also, the other thing is there's a report in the back office, and I'm glad, Nikki, you mentioned Fast Start. It's so important that we get that under our belt and try to get our associates on the phone right away with that, even if you have to register for them and then send them the link and let them know they need to be on their present and enter their associate number and name whenever it's asked for in the Zoom. In the back office, there's a report so you can keep track of who's Fast Start and when their Fast Start date expires. Because you really want to pay attention, because every Thursday is when that expires. So they extend it to Thursday. No matter when you sign up, your Fast Start will expire on a Thursday. Your manager bonus will expire on a Thursday. So keep those in mind and keep that little report handy so you can coach your new associate. You need to reach up to myself, Haas, or Nikki. We're glad to help them. We need to do a 3-way call because we're all here to help them get those bonuses. Right, Nikki?
Awesome. Yeah. One of the other things I wanted to mention too, in remembering, maybe you have a new associate who doesn't necessarily do the business, but they're still your member. Using the membership is what will cause them to make more referrals. And so, that's why we want to help them use the membership, because otherwise they may be a member for years and years and never use the membership. They don't realize how valuable our service is. So it's really important for you to use the membership first, and then we want to make sure our new associates use it as well, and at least know how to access it, be able to call. One of the things I want to mention too is when you call, you always want to say, I need legal advice regarding whatever it is. You don't want to call and say, I'm getting divorced or I'm filing bankruptcy, because now they're going to refer you to that 25% discount attorney. where if you say, I need legal advice regarding bankruptcy, or I need legal advice regarding divorce, now they're going to give you the advice first before they transfer you to the 25% discount attorney. And sometimes just getting that advice really helps people to understand what they want to do or what decisions they want to make. So we really want to make sure our members are getting that advice first. And so one of the other things I always tell my members to do is write down the name of the attorney and write down the file or case number. Because that way, if they write down the member or the attorney's name and they write down the case number or file number, now if they have any issues at all with that issue, they can call Nancy or myself, and we can help put in a request to have a supervising attorney take a look at it, maybe to transfer them to a different attorney if they don't feel like that attorney is in their best interest. And so there's a lot that we can do to make sure that that member is happy. So always please share that with your members.
Nikki, that
So
just
I'm going to
happened
go ahead and
today.
stop screen sharing.
Uh-huh. I just want to share real quick. I did have a business owner that I signed up a few months ago. They contacted me today regarding a concern about one of our Arizona attorneys. And so, yeah, so it's helpful that he's going to send me an email and I could get in contact directly with that supervising attorney. And even if anyone here on this call has any issue that maybe the law firm didn't help them with, always call me and talk to me about it. And then I'll be able to email Ron Jones, is our supervising attorney for the Davis Miles Law Firm here in Arizona. And believe me, I pick up the phone, I email him. Email him is best because I can send him all the details in an email instead of trying to leave a message or trying to talk to him on the phone. But so if you have a situation, send me an email with all the bullet points of what's going on and I'll send it to him. Believe me, I will.
Yes, Nancy knows the law firm very well in Arizona. I have a good contact in California as well. Some of the other states, you know, we can still put in a request through Legal Shield. So definitely we want to make sure that our members feel like they're being represented well and getting what we say that the service will do. So Nancy, if you'd like to talk about the importance of any of the other things that we chatted about, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and look and see if the Facebook, I'm going to get that pulled up for the other training.
All right, we have a really great guest coming in town for our Super Saturday. Kelly and I were privileged to hang out with him in Puerto Vallarta, and we hope that you all get to come on these wonderful vacations. But just a real down-to-earth guy. Kelly. Will Dazzy.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Can you share a little bit about our guest speaker coming for Super Saturday?
He is, I don't know, there's something about him. He's just very, what is the word I want to say? He's just super sweet, very wholesome, and just very, enthusiastic, and just, he's always smiling. He's always just very sociable, and I just adore him.
I have a feeling we're going to have a great time, and we're having a social Friday night in Tempe. I text out that to the group and Facebook Messenger. So if you can get there, it's 5:30 on Friday night. You don't have to stay very long because we do have Super Saturday in the morning at 9:30. But if you can make any part of that, that would be awesome. If we have to carpool, just let us know because like Kelly said, I mean, we're going to learn a lot. And actually, Will Dazzy, he's actually part of our actual team. So I know we get to meet a lot of leaders in our business. They're not necessarily part of our team, but Will Dazzy, he's part of our big team, the Freedom Fighters. So that's the Facebook page we're all invited to go to because we're part of that team with Linda Baldwin and Alex.
Yeah, while we wait for the Real Team New Vision to come up, I'll just mention too, we have a lot of really great Facebook groups. So we want to initially go on the PPLSI success, PPLSI support, make sure that our associates are on those two. And then that way, any other ones that we add, they'll look to see if the person was approved first by those two corporate Facebook groups. But we do a lot of celebrating our associates on the one that you were just mentioning, Nancy.
Freedom Fighters. So if you
Freedom Fighters.
Yep. If you post, there's a couple different pictures you can post. I protected another household. I protected another business owner. I added to my team is growing. They actually send us stuff in the mail. It's really cool. I mean, it's so nice to get a special note from somebody, and you may not necessarily know them very well. We've met them a few times. They're not really involved in our local Arizona market, but they're always at the Super Saturday. I mean, when they're at the international convention. So I urge everyone to go because they will have a special lunch for us. They'll take care of lunch for us. They're super awesome. And actually, last international convention, they weren't able to go to the ED gala. So guess who they gave the tickets to? So you just never know. Make sure you bring a little black dress or anything you like to wear to a little bit of formal gathering.
The other one is the Real Team New Vision, which is the one that we're going to post now or any moment. I'm waiting for the Facebook Live to come up. And so one of the great things with that is if you miss our training for some reason, they'll have the training show again. So that's a good thing to have. Having a hard time getting that to pull up. I think I'll go back into it. And so we also have Teams Make Dreams, which was our small, Monica's rejoining. We have a couple other groups, so I can send out a list to you guys of some of the Facebook groups to join. Just so that way you can get help with things. And then also so we can help recognize you and your team. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to go in here real quick. Hang on one sec. I'm going to go ahead and pause recording for a moment.
I'm going to do this. Hire a spouse, retire early, retire rich, retire, whatever the case may be. And then bam, poof, they're in the witness protection program. So what is going on here? I'm truly obsessed with what is going on here. So I want you to drop in the chat right now. I can see I've got my phone running over here. Hi, everybody. Drop in the chat. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? And in the words of Nick Serba, which is $1 million year earner, he says, why don't you have it? Right? Why don't you have it? And I ask myself the same questions all the time. And I think sometimes, quite frankly, our why, because they're always like, write your why down. Like when I got started, I was like, why do I want to do this business? Well, get my money back. I paid $249. I'm like, I'd like to just at least get my money back. Then I got a little bit of bigger dream space. And I said, well, man, if I can make an extra $500 a month, that'd be cool, right? I live in Silicon Valley, and you know, things are expensive here. Even if I make good money and I do it for free, might as well make an extra $500. And then I was like, well, man, maybe I could make six figures with this thing, and I'm living an overnight success. I think it's hilarious. So I've done those things, and I certainly didn't make six figures in my first 12 months, like many people have. I made 6,000. Yes, go me. But you know, I didn't even know the game I was in. I didn't even know it was network marketing. Um, but I think my why really started to grow over time. So it wasn't like I just came out of the chute like, oh, I want to make a multiple six figures. I want to, you know, help other people make six figures. I want to, you know, own a home and travel. And I wanted to help my mom, and I want to do all these things. So write down, oh, great, unlimited financial resources, love it. But it didn't start that way. So when we're asking new associates, right, if you're new today, drop a 2 in the chat if you're new today. You know, we know that it may not be there yet. So let's talk about some why. Why don't people do what they want? Why don't people want to get their why? Well, I'm going to say sometimes it's just too big. Like, yes, I would love to have an orphanage in Guatemala, like one of our business partners, Mike, Kim, and Steve Milia, but that's a long way out for me, right? So why? That just used to drive me crazy. So let's talk about some whys that motivated me, and maybe you can relate to them, right? I just had something to prove. I had a few failed ventures. I was just like, I gotta hit something. Something's gotta win. I've got to prove. I had won before and a couple other things, but just wasn't winning at the time. And so it wasn't this big, huge why. Like I want to, you know, make it. It was like to prove myself that I can actually do it, that I can prove to the family I can do it. I could prove to my friends that were making fun of me for my fourth venture that I could do it. For some of the haters, hey man, you know, let's be totally honest. The haters were fuel for me. I said when it's really like, yeah, I'm kind of bored of all the haters I have right now, because when I get pissed off, good things happen. Hope it's okay that I just said that. And I was like, you know, maybe I need a couple new haters. I'll go, you know, get another ring out of it. But I say that in jest because people are mean sometimes, and even the people that you know you think are your besties. Sometimes it's something you want to provide. I wanted to provide something for my mother. My mother was living; she's since passed away, but she was working at. She worked at Burger King. She worked at Starbucks, and you know she was living in a. She's really proud. She was living in a 1970s trailer in a trailer park in Beaverton, Oregon, and I just wanted to provide for her. Maybe you've got a spouse or something that you want to provide for. Maybe you're just tired. I was just tired. I was working 80 hours a week. Maybe you got 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. Maybe you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. If these relate to you at all, drop them in there because they don't have to be these big, you know, I want to have a diamond tennis bracelet. I want to have this. I want to have that. Maybe it's just, hey man, I don't want to work 80 hours a week for another 30 years. I wanted to be able to give back. Like I had been able to give back financially to a couple of places, but I never had time to volunteer. Gosh, I'm forever grateful that I started this because we've been able to do a lot of like we fed you know, from Craig Hepner down a few years ago, we fed 5,000 unhoused brothers and sisters. A few times a year we go and pack food for some of our less fortunate brothers and sisters. Before my little Zoe dog died, we would go once every other week into old folks' homes as a companion furry friend dog. I couldn't do that working 80 hours a week. I was able to take like a month off and go visit that orphanage I told you about in Guatemala after my mom passed, and my income didn't skip a beat. I could never have done that. So maybe it's you just want to give something back, volunteer. I deliver our little local newspaper. I put out these red ribbons at the holidays on all the trees, you know, because I can, because I want to, because I don't have to worry about, you know, worrying about a job and all that stuff. So, you know, what is it? Maybe you just want to give something back to the world. What about you just want time freedom? I mean, holy cow, to take those 22 trips last year just meant the world to me, especially after being on shutdown for so long. I was just like, get me out of here. I had a lot of revenge travel on there, but maybe it's just the time freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want to. And for me, listen, I was so happy to not have to wake up at 7 a.m. I got to get up when I was done sleeping. To this day, I don't book appointments before 8:30 a.m. It's just not my jam. I'm not interested. I'm not doing it. And why? Because I can do whatever I want whenever I want to, and you can too. Maybe you grew up poor, maybe you grew up rich. We grew up both. My mom was totally destitute when I was a kid. You know, we grew up in an apartment building, and I got beat up every day on the way to school. It's talk. I mean, I was a little kid and I would run to school because I was going to get beat up. Then my mother and got remarried and helped build his big empire. And so then we had a lot of money and cars and Porsches, and this felt like, woo, heyday. But then we lost it all again. You know, I'm going to be completely transparent. He claimed bankruptcy on all of us, on me, my mom, left her for a woman 17 years younger. If she had had a membership like this, she was a stay-at-home mom at the time, never got her degree, spent all of her time helping him get his law degree and all of his businesses and whatnot, right? I mean, if she would have something like this for $1 a day, she could have called up and said, hey, we're getting divorced. He said to use my attorney, or his attorney, we should save money. They would have said, no, you need your own attorney. He's off now making, $1 million a year, got $1 million yachts. And like I said, my mom and I put myself through college with 3 jobs. She lived in a trailer park working at, fast food. And so we've been on both ends of that. So maybe you just want to break those chains of poverty, which is what I was trying to do. Maybe, you grew up with a silver spoon in your hand and you in your mouth, and you just want to make it on your own. Maybe you just want to be world class at something. I was good at the other stuff I did, but I was never going to be world class at something. Because of Legal Shield, I've been able to fulfill a few lifelong dreams, which is it's kind of fun. I have a little dyslexia, so I think it's funny that I've been a contributing author now to 3 best-selling books. It just cracks me up. My mom would have loved that. And one of them was a really quite a famous book, Go for No for the Network Marketer. And I don't get paid if you get the books or not. The other one is Women Can. And that book, 100% of it goes to charity. It's called the Giving Book. And I have a book on leadership. So, some of those things like being world class, going on stages, being invited to speak somewhere. I was never going to get that in insurance or working for somebody else. It just was an amazing opportunity to do something great and just create and design whatever you want it to be. Maybe you just want to have purpose in your life. The stuff I worked for and sold or did or whatever, it wasn't game changing. It wasn't life changing. It wasn't saving lives. And in Legal Shield, you have a legitimate opportunity to give people safety, peace of mind, their rights sometimes for the very first time. I do know that we save lives with our 24/7. And so, I have purpose again. I have significance. It's an ability to want to help other people get to where you've got. I couldn't do that before. So the second thing is now you know what your why is, and it doesn't have to be some airy fairy, perfect why. It might just be some of those gritty, dirty whys I was talking about. And then you got to make a decision, man. So I just made a decision. I'm going to do whatever it takes as long as it takes, because if somebody else could have what I wanted in this company, then I could crack the code too. If I did what they did, they already did the recipe, we could do it. And so thank goodness I made it whatever it takes decision. And I've made a lot of those in my life. One was marrying my husband. We've been together for 20 years in June. We dated for 5 before that. I've been with him for 25 years. I think a lot of people stand in front of God and their families and they say, until death do we part, or until we don't feel like it. Listen, we need to make more decisions and do whatever it takes decisions. And so I say that to say successful people make decisions quickly. As soon as all the facts are available, and unsuccessful people, they slowly ever change their mind. And unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and change them a whole bunch. So why are you surprised that people come in and out of your business, right? So just make a whatever it takes decision. Like I was not setting the world on fire. I made $500 a month in my first year. Then that was 6,000. Then it went to 14. Then it went to 37 that next year. Then 69. By my 5th year, it was 98,000. It went over 6 figures in my 6th year, but then it went back again. Then it went up again. And then it kept going up and up. And then it kind of stayed the same at about 200,000. Don't cry me a river. So what I'm saying is, listen, just do whatever it takes. Setback does not mean denial. And I also love this quote by Theodore Roosevelt. He said, in a moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing at all. So be messy. Who cares? And it's not by chance, family. It's by choice that you're going to be successful here. Nobody's given a master distributor position and gets up to the top. It's called, you're going to have to work. It's called network marketing. And so here's some things that hold us back. Maybe it's a lack of hunger. Like it would have been easy for me making a multiple 6 figures on my 80-hour-a-year career to not do Legal Shield. I was talking to Noah Marcus about this. Like I'm kind of a nut job. I remember back then always keeping Legal Shield on the front burner, always, because I kept telling myself, if I don't, I'm going to be working another 30, 40, 50 years, 80 hours a week with something I don't love and I hate, what the heck is that going to do for me? This life is not a dress rehearsal. So maybe it's a lack of hunger. Maybe you're comfortable right now. You got to manufacture some uncomfortability and make sure you put Legal Shield on the front burner. Some people, that things that hold people back is really an unwillingness to sacrifice. Look, I only have 24 hours in a day. How about you? And so for things to be able to change, we got to change. And it was so funny. Craig Hefner was the first overview that I saw in person. And I almost said no to the opportunity because I had no time. He said, I just don't have any time at all. I really can't do this business. And he asked me a very good question. He said, in 5 years, if you keep doing what you're doing, are you going to have any more time in 5 years or less time? And I said, that's a good question, probably less. And then he said, wouldn't you agree the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? Don't you detest the lack of time? And I said, yeah. And then he said, woman, for things to change, you gotta change. And it was like he punched me in the stomach. I was like, okay, so I needed to sacrifice. I needed to cut out a little bit of, TV time. I needed to cut out a little bit of maybe going out with the friends after hours. And so that's really it. If you're unwilling to sacrifice, you're not going to make it here, because again, success is by choice, not by chance. Maybe it's a lack of confidence. You know what gets rid of, or what increases your confidence? I'll tell you what, just go out and take messy action. You'll figure it out. So if you have a lack of confidence, do it anyway. Do it because, and then the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable with it. Mike Melia I was at our Super Saturday this Saturday, and he said, some people say to me, well, how do you talk to so many people? He said, talk to 1,000 people and you'll figure it out. I was like, that's the truth. I get it, right? Personal issues and timing can be something that holds you back. But check this out, and I hope she doesn't kill me, because she said it was okay to say this. But there's a woman on our team right now, and I'm just so uber impressed with her. Her husband's got stage 4 cancer. He's on hospice right now, and she could have a lot of excuses. Would you agree? But she shows up to the Super Saturday. She's in Performance Club. She opened up her second group. She shows up to all of our Zooms. I mean, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. And the same wind blows on us all, as Jim Rohn says, it's the set of the sail. And some of the set of the sail that's going to help you with that is reading our books of the month, which I've got mine right here, Hidden Potential, baby. That'll also help with your confidence. You'll read about people that have done things you want to do, that can do things. And you'll see, like, man, you got it pretty easy. I'm spending too much time on the trivial. Are you gossiping? Are you the team knows not to come to me with any of that stuff. I could care less about that. I love everybody, but I want to be in business with you as a business partner and as a business friend. And I don't want to hear about who's with who and who's not doing what they're supposed to do. Unless it's affecting your business, then who cares who's going where and who's doing what? So don't spend any time on the trivial. Make the main thing the main thing. How many times is a Legal Shield story being told by you or someone on your team? Another thing that keeps people where they were is living off of yesterday's precipice. Like, there's people that come in this business, and I could have been guilty of this. I came in here and I had some success in other careers, and I could have come in here and lived off of that. But I got in here and I was humble. I realized that after a lot of failures here, that I didn't know what I didn't know. That when someone else is talking and their stack of money is bigger than yours, your lips should not be moving, but your pen and piece of paper should. And so we can't come in here and live off of yesterday's clippings. Even if you've had success, everyone starts at the same level here, which is part of the reason why people quit. They can't stand it because they're like, do you know who I am? And they come in here and you're just a regular old associate. But what I'm going to tell you here today is the reverse is true. If you've had some failures as well, you can't come in here and expect to fail again, because I can show you so many people in the profiles of success that were destitute. I mean, I love it. We've got a great story of a gentleman who literally lived in a van down by the river as a single dad, and he was able to now go on and make over $200,000 a year in a very short period of time. So your past, good or bad, doesn't have to equal your future. So get over it. Also want to share with you, comparison is the thief of joy. And to this day, I still find myself doing it. I'm like, oh man, somebody got started before me. They made more money faster. You're not going to say, hey, you know what? My journey is my journey. There's always another story behind this story. Like, I don't know what was going on. Maybe they had network marketing experience. Maybe they had some great deposits in the other direction and had some awesome contacts. Maybe they knew people in network marketing. I can't compare myself. I'm running my own race. And that's what I love about Legal Shield. Like, listen, somebody else could start and make $100,000 out of a shoot and go on to make $500,000. I could make 5,000 my first year, 6,000 my first year, and still make $500,000. It may take me longer in an annual year, but I could still do it. The opportunity is just as good today for anyone, anytime. So don't compare yourself to other people. And exhaustion, you're not good to anybody. So if you need to take a mental health day, like I just had someone call me and said, I had to take Sunday off. And I feel really guilty about it. And I go, you know what? Guilt is sucky. Why would you want to feel that way? If you need to take a day off, you better take a day off. You know what's right for your mental health. Now, if you're just lazy, that's another thing. But I knew this woman was not lazy. And so, you know what? You're not good to anybody. So if you need to go to bed early, you need to say no. And in fact, I got invited to go do an overseas trip in May. And it pained me so much because I got to say no to some things so I can say yes to other things. And I absolutely said, I want to go, but I have to say no because I am getting a $35,000 bonus for going gold 3 months in a row. And I got 2 months left. Then I'm going for platinum on Circle of Champions, and I cannot afford to do that in May. 2023 was my travel year. So I'm just saying, like, you got to be able to say no to some things so you can say yes to other things so you're not exhausted, right? And ego, my mentor, Craig Hefner, always said, ego will kill you in this business. When you start thinking, when all the money comes and people are, telling you you're so great, if you start believing that stuff, you're on your way back. I never want to go back to the trailer park and 3 jobs going to college and sleeping on the floor. I literally slept on the floor when I moved to California. I didn't have any furniture, no money. I mean, I never want to go back there. So I'm never going to forget where I came, and I'm always going to remain humble. And you have my permission to check me if you need to. And so if you've made a massive decision, you're not letting excuses get in the way, then the only other thing you have to do is massive action. And in here, all we have to do is show it to people. Like, people say, man, this is hard work. I'm like, no, I was in the summertime in Vegas at our summer retreat, and we pulled up to like a red light in Vegas in August, and there was like the top of somebody's head with a hard hat on inside below the street level, inside a manhole. And that is hot, hard, sweaty work. So here, listen, how hard is it? If that person can do that for however much they make in a manhole in the middle of summer, do you think you could show up to a few people in your warm market and get out of your comfort zone and be a little bit afraid? Of course you can. Listen, the only difference between us and Brian Brothers making $240,000 in his first year is he invited 300 people to take a look in his first 48 hours. I wish I would have known that story when I got started, because I might have done that. I might have just helped somebody here right now. So big list, big money, massive action. And then we know that there's a planting season and a reaping season. You might be planting a lot and you may not see it because fortune's in the follow-up for 30, 60, 90 days. And some people quit. And then what happens is someone like me who doesn't quit comes in and they're like, oh yeah, I heard of Legal Shield. In fact, this woman who quit showed it to me a few months ago. I went back to her and she said, nah, I'm not doing that thing anymore. But I've been looking for someone to sign up with. I'm perfect. So understand there's a planting season and a reaping season, and they're not always the same. Taking massive action says, look at your calendar. Is it congruent with your goals? If your goal is to get some of that new bonus money, there's the senior director or senior manager of the director bonus for $250 has continued through March. Is your calendar congruent with getting that till March? Do you know what it takes? Are you full of appointments and all of this? And we have to get out of our comfort zone. You have made all of the money, made the highest rank you're going to make in that comfort zone. And I'm getting so far out of my comfort zone, it's not even funny. Like on social media, I'm like, oh my gosh, because, and listen, I went home for the holidays back to Oregon, and all of my friends, for the second time in my Legal Shield career, made fun of me again. They made fun of me when I started Legal Shield. Now they're all like, I wish I would have done it. I said, it's not too late. They're like, yeah, it's too late. I'm like, whatever you believe to be true is true. So I just don't even worry about that. But they made fun of me again on my social media. They're like, what do you have, a camera crew following you around? Who do you think you are? You think you're Oprah? And I just was like, listen, if I'm annoying you with my social media, then I'm doing something right. Because if I was annoying you with my Legal Shield business, then I was doing something right. because all those people have had 5, 10 jobs in the last 22 years. I've done one thing with residual income and will never have to work for anyone else as long as I live. And listen, massive action includes believing that you have a gift. Family, you have a gift for everybody, as long as they're willing to take it. So it's your financial and moral obligation and fiduciary responsibility to show this to everyone that you're not responsible if they get started or not. What a great testament to that. So you have a gift. You shouldn't keep it the best kept secret. You should show it to everyone. Take massive action and do sprints. Hey man, right now we've got, I think it's like, I can't remember, 65 days or 70 days or something like that. So we go into our international convention, which is the home office tour that you must go to, are going to start on the 17th. So you can see that wall with Martin Luther King Jr. You can see the big Lady of Justice and go see that home office. But so I would say, if you're not in a sprint right now with an accountability partner, if you're not on a Jamaica team, make your own team right now. Get going and run like you've never run before as you go into there. So that's what I do. I just do 90-day sprints with the team. I look down and run. If I look up and I like where I am, I'm like, great. Maybe take a hot second, but then I go back down again and run again, and then take a break, run again, take a break. So, do 90 days, do 60 days, do whatever you've got to do. And then understand that when you take massive action, you're going to work harder in the beginning. Listen, I told you I made 6,000, then 12 or 6,000, 14, 37, 69, 98,000. And that is really what we've been able to do. And so why do I say that? I say that to say, let me go ahead. Can you jump off the Zoom? Who's ever on my Zoom right now? Thank you. Chris, can you hop off? I'm on there you go. So what I say that to say is that is exactly what happened for me. In my first year, my goal was just to really cover my expenses. My second year, I was like, wow, there's some serious money here. My third year, I was like, holy cow, I could buy a car. Maybe not now. My fourth year, right at 68,000 is about between the fourth and the fifth year where I walked away from my career a little bit too soon. I should have waited a little bit longer, right? But this is pretty much the story for everyone. It's the 1, 3, 5 year. By the 7th year, no matter what, you're going to be world class. The problem is somebody else has done their 1, 3, 5 years in a different venture, right? So they come in here and look like a rock star, but maybe they already did 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5 in another network marketing company, in another self-employment thing. So we can't compare ourselves to other people, but everyone that I know that's ever done network marketing like I did, that started, I've only been in one company, never been in another network marketing company, have all pretty much the story's been the same. But most people quit at year 2 or year 3 because they feel like they're working hard, but it's not showing up yet. You've got to work on you. I'm still working on me. I am so not perfect. Oh my gosh, I have so much more to work on. You have no idea. But here's what I do know is it's the compounding effect. I would say my superhero power, if I could give you like insight into my mind, is I am the consistency girl where the compounding effect over time finally kicks in. I take responsibility. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. I say, if my team did what I did today, what would my check look like? And I try to live a life of responsibility. Am I perfect? No. I'll have a day or two where I'm not on there, but listen, it's so important because it's the few simple disciplines practiced over an extended period of time that lead to success. Remember, it's an apple a day, not 7 on Sunday. It's been said, if you live a life of blame, right? It's the failures, it's the few errors and judgments repeated over time. Like, I'm not going to say I don't eat meat, but I'm not going to say I don't ever go to fast food and maybe get an Impossible burger. I'm not going to say that. But if I ate one every day, would you agree? Or I smoked every day, the compounding effect would be different than someone who ate vegan their entire life. Of course. So the same things here. This is why you can't blame anybody else for your lack of success because they're actually working. And this is why I say it's so easy to beat the masses because our business is voluntary. So few people are really trying. My goal is to show it to at least 60 to 100 people every single month. New. That's it. And I've been doing that, I kid you not, 60, actually, let me not tell a lie. I don't think I've ever done 100. I've done 60 new people pretty much every single month for 22 years, and you're seeing the results. Now, if I had more time in the beginning, I should have done more in the beginning. I would have been there faster. So really, if you're being tested right now, and they can come from everywhere because it's the new year, you decided to make a big decision, You decided you're gonna take some massive action. You decided a lot of this other stuff, right? So here's what I'm gonna tell you right now, is the challenges can come from everywhere, because they're gonna test you. It could be external. It could be weather, like not letting you get to Super Saturday. It could be your family making fun of you, giving you a hard time. It could be your friends. I told you my friends always give me a hard time. It could be your job and career. All of a sudden you're ready to go and excited, and now it's like, oh, okay, great. Now, your job's giving you double duty. Somebody quits. You're gonna be tested. Maybe it's you in your own mind. Maybe you have some worthiness issues. I remember as a manager crying in the bathroom saying, I cannot do this business. I stink at this business. I should just quit. And somebody was there who believed more in me than I believed in myself and said, girl, you got this. And so I'm just saying, it's your own mind sometimes that will mess with you if it's not happening fast enough. You feel like a loser. You're not. It's just, listen, the test is going to be your testimony, baby. So here's a final tips on how to win. Lead with your heart, baby. They got to be able to feel you. No BS. Be who you are all the time. What you see is what you get. If we're having a conversation over the phone, I'm going to be the exact same way. If we're sitting at the after party, it's going to be the exact same way. You're never going to not see the heart-centered person that we are. And that's what we want you to be. Isn't that great? In corporate America, I had to be somebody else. When I was a boss, I had to be somebody else. It's difficult right now with everything coming at us. But when you're working your legal shield business, you have to block out the noise, turn off the television, turn off the phone, focus on one thing at a time. Spend an hour, 20 minutes, whatever you've got, 15 minutes of uninterrupted time. And know that associations are everything. This is why you've got to get to convention. This is why you have to get to our team retreat in Kentucky, June 6th and 9th. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those associations. People that I looked up to are now my friends. Like Kim Melia, I'll never forget. I saw her at a convention and I was like, hey, Miss Melia. This is the funniest one ever. I'm like, hey, this is my first convention. Do you have any advice for me? She's like, did you bring anybody with you? And I said, no. And she said, never let that happen again. And I was like, good advice. Like, I wasn't offended at all. I'm like, that chick's gonna be my friend someday. Lo and behold, every convention I came with more and more posse. I'd find her, I'd say, hey, check out my posse. And I'd have them all in the background going, right? To now, fast forward, last year was her 50th birthday party. And I flew to Lake Chapala to go celebrate for several days with a bunch of other legal shield winner on her 50th birthday. We're best of friends now. So as I'm saying, associations are everything, but you've got to start somewhere, right? You need to have mentors, accountability, workout partners, the people that are on this Zoom. You need to continually improve and learn. No toe dipping. Go all the way in. Blow it out. What do you have to lose? Because success loves speed. Work on your programming. Read these books of the month. Listen to podcasts. Listen to audios. Get systems in place so you can get things done and get them done fast. Like we said, be consistent. Believe in the process, embrace the struggle, because how else are you going to walk somebody else off the ledge if you've never been on the ledge? So, embrace the struggle. That's okay, right? You're going to be a great leader to help someone else live. If it was perfect, I never had any problems, would you agree no one could ever relate to me? And know that if someone else can do it, you can do it. You're going to sacrifice, baby, but it's going to be worth it. And it's all dependent on you showing up. I'm so incredibly proud of you for showing up today. I need you to believe in yourself, believe in the company, believe in the process, believe that it'll work for you. Figure out your why, even if it's just, I got something to prove to one of my haters. And then just make a massive decision and decide that you're going to take massive action, and that you're going to, even though you're going to be tested, you're going to have the best testimonial ever. And then winning is inevitable. With that, family, I love Team Revision. I've never missed a convention, even when I wasn't on your team. Now I am part of the team. And I'm forever grateful for all your mentorship, all your love. With that, take care, and OKC baby. Good night, everybody.
All right. On that note, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Mhm.